Purport. The word separatist must be understood carefully. The Sanskrit words in this connection are Bhinnadrik and Prithak Bhavaha. A separatist is one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. Mixed devotees or devotees in the mode of passion and ignorance think that the interest of the Supreme Lord is supplying the orders of the devotee. The interest of such devotee is to draw from the Lord as much as possible for their sense gratification. This is separatist mentality. Actually, pure devotion is explained in previous chapter. Mind of the Supreme Lord and the mind of the devotee should be dovetailed. A devotee should not wish anything but to execute the desire of the Lord. That is oneness. When the devotee has an interest or will different from the interest of the Supreme Lord, his mentality is that of separatist. When the so-called devotee desires material enjoyment without reference to the interest of the Supreme Lord, or he wants to become famous or opulent by utilizing the mercy or the grace of the Supreme Lord, he is in the mode of passion. Mayavadis, however, interpret this word separatist in a different way. They say that while worshipping the Lord, one should think himself one with the Supreme Lord. This is another adulterated form of devotion within the modes of material nature. The conception that the living entity is one with the Supreme is in the mode of ignorance. Oneness is actually based on oneness of interest. Pure devotee has no interest but to act on behalf of the Supreme Lord. When one has even a tinge of personal interest, his devotion is mixed with the three modes of material nature. So here, different types of contaminated devotional service or devotion service executed by persons who are contaminated is being explained one by one. The last verse was devotion service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of ignorance, darkness. The worship of the deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So, all these are devotional service which is characterized by a sense of independent existence of the worshipper. Devotional service means he is a worshipper of the Lord. So as long as the devotee is having this sense of independence, means not independence in action alone, a feeling of independent existence, which is the common sense of being in all the living entities in this material world. All the entities in this material world, they all have a sense of being or existing independent. Individuality is different, independence is different. Individuality plus independence is false ego. Individuality plus complete dependence upon the Lord is real ego. So individuality is not the issue here. As Prabhupada is explaining in this purport, this Bhinnadrik Pritak Bhavaha, in this verse it is Pritak Bhavaha, in the previous verse it was Bhinnadrik. That means that separatist existence, separatist feeling of existence independent of Krishna. That attitude is what causes one to worship the Lord with material desires. How does that? Then why is the word Bhinnadrik used here? It is to show that devotion service can also be done in a mixed mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Devotion service means it's a relationship with the Lord. So someone goes before the deity and he seeks material enjoyment, fame, opulence, etc. That is, obviously there is an assumption in this consciousness that I am independent existence. If I have to ask the Lord for all these things, then He'll supply me these things. So there is a relationship between the Lord and the devotee in this mode of passion. The Lord He expects that he asks the Lord and the Lord provides. Whereas in pure devotional service also, there is the idea of Lord providing. A pure devotee is also completely in the mood of completely dependent upon the Lord for everything, for his maintenance, for his protection, everything. He is dependent upon the Lord. He is protected because he is in a state of protection because he is protected by the Lord. He is maintained because of the Lord. There is a recognition that there is always a flow of different things from the Lord. Flow of different energy in the form of mercy from the Lord. That is there in the pure devotee. There is a fine difference here, is that the devotee is not in the separatist mood, and therefore he knows that my Lord knows what I need, how I need to be protected, how I need to be maintained. I am part and parcel of Krishna, so it is his care to take care of it. My desire should be not to think of myself, but my desire should be thinking of Krishna, Guru and Krishna. That is my constitutional desiring capacity. That desiring is given to me not for independently seeking different things for an independent existence, but for seeking the pleasure of the Lord, seeking devotional service, always asking for devotional service, always seeking undefined mercy from the Lord. It's a constant state of dependence, seeking undefined mercy from the Lord, anticipation of the mercy of the Lord. These are some of the principles of guidelines, 6 guidelines of surrender, to always anticipate the mercy of the Lord. To have full faith that the Lord will protect him, Lord will maintain him. And go on engaging in devotional service, which is pleasing to the Lord, and reject all activities which are not pleasing to the Lord. and understands one's position as an eternal servant of the Lord and realize one's meekness, and also understand that every living entity is also servant of the Lord, which brings one to the understanding of humility, realization of interrelationship between the living entities is the result of humility. It results in humility. Trinadapi sunichena taroropi saishnuna amanina manadena kirtanyadara sadahari. So in pure devotional service, this separate interest does not come at all. At the same time, there is a recognition that everything is coming from the Lord. One is eternally dependent upon the Lord. One is eternally taken care of by the Lord. One is eternally maintained by the Lord. When one exercises one's individuality in depending upon the Lord, then that is real absolute individuality of the living entity. When one exercises individuality mixed with independence, then false ego comes. Sometimes this individuality and independence appear to be very close. It is so close that one meaning can mean material existence, other meaning can mean spiritual existence. The entire existence is one interest, that is Krishna's interest. That idea has to be first understood. That is called Advaya Jnana. There is only one interest, Anandamayobhyasat, Krishna's interest. So I have to fit into Krishna's interest. My desires has to fit into Krishna's interest. My doing has to fit into Krishna's interest. My thinking has to fit into Krishna's interest. My feelings has to fit into Krishna's interest. And that is the meaning of being surrendered. We cannot stand before the deity here, we cannot stand before the Lord thinking that you have something. I have something, I am short of something more, so therefore provide me. One should stand before the Lord having nothing. That attitude is very dear to the Lord. In other words, if you have something, even if you have a body, or if you have an opportunity to come before the Lord, that is also not yours, it is Guru and Krishna's mercy. That way the devotee, on his own right, he feels he is empty of any assets, material or spiritual. It's called akinchana. This should be the mood in which we stand before the Lord. It's not that everything is all right, my Lord, everything is going fine. I have one thing which is not working well, and you pray to the Lord. That means you have some confidence that everything is going well. One problem is there, so I come before you for that problem. But the devotee who goes before the Lord with the attitude that you know everything, just give me devotional service. Whatever you have given me, or whatever you have not given me, good and bad in my estimation, it's all left to you. You have a plan. Please engage me in your service. Then the devotees put the entire thing on the Lord. And the devotee feels always fully dependent upon the Lord for everything. Then his soul becomes very light. A devotee's soul is very light. Does not carry the weight of so many things. The I and mine is big weight for the soul. The I and mine is a very big weight for the soul. You cannot fly if you have I and mine. You have to fly in devotional service. Means this I and mine should not be there. Krishna and Krishnas. Krishna and for Krishna. And that should be the practice of our relationship as a sadhaka, relationship with the deity, relationship with the holy name. And that kind of a relationship gives so much of transcendental satisfaction and peace to the devotee because he hands over his life to the lotus feet of the Lord. He has nothing to calculate. At least when one comes before the deities, he should give up all this sense of possession. You and my body, all this should give up. It's a practice. When he goes off, then again Maya may catch. He'll forget. But at least when comes before the deities, you stand before the deities, think I have nothing. Whatever is your mercy. Whatever I have is my Guru's mercy. Even intelligence. Sometimes devotee is completely dependent upon intelligence, on knowledge. Intelligence, knowledge, spiritual intelligence, spiritual knowledge. We should not have a sense of possessiveness. We should know that it is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna that mercy you have got. Mercy is required, knowledge is required, otherwise I will be in ignorance. I cannot do without knowledge. I need transcendental knowledge, otherwise I will be in Maya. Maya means ignorance. So Krishna means knowledge. So I need transcendental knowledge. But that is coming from the spiritual master. He will provide me. Should I have full faith that Krishna, what you have is because of him. If you have constant faith that whatever you have is because of him and have that gratitude, then that knowledge will never go. Something comes into our memory, we tend to think, now I have it, it is in my possession. No doubt, one should try to memorize, one should try to keep in memory, smaranam, thinking all these things. It is one of the process of devotional service. But one should know whom that belongs to. That's all. I may have money in my pocket, no harm. But I should know who it belongs to. I may have transcendental knowledge, but I should know whom it belongs to. I may have good fortune, good realizations, but I should know what is the source of that blessing. I may have detachment, but I should know that it is coming by the mercy of the spiritual master. That connection of being grateful to the spiritual master, being indebted to the spiritual master, is not a, it not only comes from, it comes from the intensity of gratitude to the spiritual master comes from the realization that without that mercy, what I would be. That is important. Many times we take for granted what all we have. We never think for one moment that if what I have goes away, what will happen to me? People always think of what I don't have, what I don't have, what I don't have, what I don't have. But we never appreciate what we have. We never count the blessings we have already got. This is another disease. Anything we possess, we minimize value for it. Till we get it, we are wanting it. Once we get it, you got a sense of possession, then its value is down. This is mental disease. But the nature of transcendental knowledge is not like that. It is always ever fresh. Mundane knowledge, yes, it is own characteristic of becoming stale. Mundane knowledge, mundane relationship, it has got its own characteristic of becoming stale. That stale means it was exciting in the beginning, slowly it will fade away. But transcendental knowledge, transcendental relationship is not like that. Inherently, it is ever fresh. But because our mind is like this, makes everything stale. Just like when we started chanting Hare Krishna, it was so fresh and it was so powerful for us. And then it became routine thing. Like a train, it went on. Became a routine thing. The mind introduced that familiarity and that staleness. The freshness is gone. Not because there is no freshness. In the material world, freshness goes because in the subject there is no freshness. Freshness was put by you, by excitement, and then it went away. But here freshness is actually there in the substance. In the Harinam is ever fresh. Actually Harinam, the deities, transcendental knowledge, Prabhupada's books, they are ever fresh. You take one purport, read again and again and again, it is ever fresh. That is the nature of transcendental things. But our mind makes it three modes of material nature, makes it familiar, and then it is ordinary thing. When we get the Harinam, it's like diamond. The diamond is continuously in your pocket. Its value is like a glass. Its value is like a glass, piece of glass. That happens in all this devotion service. Prasadam you appreciate a lot in the beginning. Afterwards you're getting it every day, no? You don't realize its value. You don't count its blessings. You stop getting prasadam for a few days and eat bhoga for a few days. Then you'll be surprised, my God, I did not count my blessings. How many living entities has got opportunity to eat only prasadam every day? This is called counting the blessings. What is this? How many have got opportunity to chant 16 rounds every day, Harinama? How many has got opportunity to come in association with a pure devotee like Prabhupada? This brings enthusiasm in our devotion service when we count our blessings. So, the devotee is always, a devotee, instead of always seeking from the Lord, what I want, what I want, what I want, he is always grateful to the Lord for what is given, and his gratitude increases only by him thinking, what if I don't have this? For instance, we can think, what if we didn't have such a big temple in Bangalore? What would be our preaching strength without this? Suppose it was not there, then you're struggling to preach. And suddenly Prabhupada and Krishna comes and says, okay, from tomorrow you'll have a big temple standing there. You'll get so excited. Oh, so much preaching opportunity. But now every day it is with us. We are seeing, no excitement. No excitement. Just see our mental state. That is the reason why we say that if we have experienced the pain of not having something, then you will value what you have. Now that is one way. Another way is, you don't have to go through all this way of, pain of not having. But at least in our mind we can think, what will happen if it was not there? And the most valuable thing is transcendental knowledge that Prabhupada has given. Without this knowledge, where would we be? Without this knowledge, the value of this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, that cannot be so easily understood. That you are part and parcel of Krishna, there is a spiritual world, there is a material world, you belong to that world, you are part and parcel of Krishna, all this knowledge, to turn them into perceptions of reality. Theoretical knowledge is one thing, philosophical knowledge is one thing. To turn them into perception of reality, to see this material world as a perverted reflection. To see, just like in the last few verses, last chapter we are seeing, to see this world as being moved by Kala, billions and billions of bodies, male bodies, female bodies, trees, insects, reptiles. Through the force of Kala, the living entity is going through experience in each of these 84 lakh species. To have this kind of a perception. From the mercy of Prabhupada, by hearing from the mercy of Prabhupada, is something that even the most intelligent people on earth do not have that big picture. We have the real big picture, total picture by the mercy of Guru. Every pakka explanation, what is this material world? Why we are stuck here? How these bodies are pushed by Kala. Everybody from birth to death, body is moving. Nobody stays here permanently. It's a changing world. And what is the purpose of this? To get out of this material world. Well, where this knowledge is there with anybody, nobody is having. So one will be so enthusiastic in devotional service, or one will be so enthusiastic in his consciousness, if he simply counts the blessings that you already got. As an exercise for your mind, sometimes you have to take and write. Small, small things also you should write. I have a nice ashram place to sleep every day. Like that, one by one, it is very important. How you will appreciate, suppose I didn't have that, then you will appreciate. I have association of devotees. So anyway, this idea of independent existence brings independent interests. So Binnadrik, you think independent existence, then you have independent. I and Lord are one. The Lord knows what I need. I exist, the Lord exists. But our interests are not bhinna. Suppose you don't surrender everything to the Lord, you keep something for yourself, then that is independent. Then that is bhinna. Some aspect of your life you don't surrender to the Lord. My problems is not for the Lord. One should not think like that. Everything is for the Lord. My problems are also for the Lord. What? I don't have any existence. If I have anarthas, all anarthas are also part of my process of surrender. Immediately one will feel light from all the anarthas. Lord knows. There is a way the Lord will remove my anarthas. That is also His business. I don't have to ask. I have to simply serve Him. I have full confidence that by His association, all anarthas will go away. Any questions?
Lord, I appreciate praying to the Lord for a pure devotional service. Lord has taken many incarnations in the material world with a specific function. Like Narsimha is there, like we can pray for removing the obstacles. And we also have the preaching movement. We have to go to the outside world and we have to deal with the material energy and materialistic people. So is it okay, Prabhu, to pray to Narsimha? Because Lord has taken a specific avatar with a specific function. We can pray to Narsimha for, taking forward a preaching movement or to removing all obstacles in the path of preaching. Is it okay, Prabhu? Or?
It's okay. We have to always think of general. See, the only problem with the speaking with the Lord in terms of one's heart's problems and one's heart's desire is if it is separate from the interest of the Lord, number one. Second is, even if it is in the interest of the Lord, you should never be very specific. Protect me in this way. That is overstepping. Protect me in this way. Maintain me in this way. I don't have this specific thing, give me this specific thing. This becomes order supplier relationship with the Lord. In this, there is in this kind of an attitude, there is an assumption that the Lord does not care for you. If I don't make my list, I will not get it. So you will make specific list what all I want. The Lord will be laughing. You have made a list of 10 items. I got 1,000 items for you in my list. You only want 10. If you give your life to me, if you hand over, you surrender to me, I know you need 1,000 things in the list. I'll provide all that as and when I need. But you are only asking this much. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam sati bhajamyaham. Fully surrender to Him for all your needs, everything. Don't be very specific. General prayer for protection, general prayer for purification, general prayer for this, it's fine. And sometimes specific prayers appear, some general prayers appear like specific prayers. For instance, if you say, please remove all the anarthas in my heart, it looks like a specific prayer, but it's not. It is a general prayer. It's general prayer. Some particular anartha you remove, that you don't ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in our day-to-day services, we do some services. So we commit to the authorities. My reporting authority. I do this much. So for doing that much, I need some intelligence, strength, everything. So how to depend on the Lord? So when I go on specifically, you are telling don't ask specifically something. So in order to execute this specific task, which I committed to my authority, so how to depend on the Lord for the intelligence, strength, skill?
See, why do you assume that you know the full, what all you need to do that service? Why do you assume? Don't assume. Why don't you completely depend upon the Lord for entire devotion service? In such devotion service, be completely dependent upon the Lord. That's what Krishna says. Just be dependent upon Him for everything. Sense of dependence is required in executing this service. I have confidence that whatever is required, He will provide. Yes, specifically, it does not make sense, no?
For example, I committed to the authorities. So this much I do. So I'm helpless now. So in that situation, how do I depend? So I should depend on the Lord by seeking the help of the Lord's intelligence, strength.
Right. And then that doesn't mean that result is 100% has to happen. That is the first lesson that you are taught. You may commit to anybody, but ultimate decision is made by the Lord. Isn't it? You can desire so many things for the Lord also, but He should finally sanction.
And that commitment is also approved by the authority. Oh, this much should happen.
Does it mean that every approved thing happens? And if every approved thing doesn't happen, then there is a problem? No. Nature of life is like that. Many things will be approved, many things will happen, many things will not happen, but still devotion service will go on.
The endeavor should be happening.
Endeavor, our devotional endeavor should go on. The spirit of endeavor, the bhavana, that should go on. That is what Krishna, Bhavagrahi Janardana, he takes that bhava, the effort that you have put, your dependence that you have put, the faith that I will achieve it, but you may not achieve. The faith that I will achieve while doing it, if Krishna will so, I will achieve. That faith.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, how is it different, having intimate relationship with God, Lord?
Having?
Intimate relationship. How it is different from praying specifically, Prabhu? Like intimate relation means we offer specifically, or how to understand, Prabhu? Like specific prayers and...
Prayer is different. If you know that Krishna takes care of your small things also, without even prayer, does it become intimate or not? Intimacy develops or not? Not only through prayers intimacy develops. Without your asking every tiny thing He is taking care, how much intimate you will feel?
The material world, intimacy means we share so many things.
No, in the material world also, suppose somebody is, you don't ask someone, and he is always caring for you, and then he is coming and helping you. So, Don't you become more intimate with that person than this sharing and all? What is this sharing? You don't have anything to share first. In Lord's relationship, you have nothing to share. Everything you have is you are sharing His. Isn't it? Huh? Mundane love, they say love means sharing and all these things. What sharing? We are only receiving always. You can give feelings to the Lord. You can give devotion to the Lord. You can give feeling of surrender to the Lord. You can give the feeling of dependence upon the Lord to Him. But you cannot give anything else. If you are giving something else, that is like giving what you have, you give, is like a thief giving to the master. Or you can say in a different way, if a more devoted person, you can say it's like a child taking money from the father and buying a birthday gift for the father. Money is father's. You take and give it. Just like taking water in the Ganges and pouring back to the Ganges.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, my question is that as I render my devotional services and I commit, many times I commit mistakes in my authorized service. Sometimes I see that I repeat also some kind of mistake. So I just want to understand, is it due to this separatist mentality only? The mistakes I am committing, is it related to this mentality that I am living in some different world? Like this service has to be done at 11 o'clock. And I just forgot, I was thinking somewhere my mind was, I was just talking with mind, or I was in some other world. How is it connected? Or and the second thing is how I can come out of it. Some things are
when you are doing a service to the Lord, that time you should be focused on that service. That time you cannot think of something else. That means you are not concentrating on the service. Nothing to do with the separatist attitude. That separatist Bhinna Drik, Pratak Drik and Brinna Drishti, which we are talking about, is something very high. These are all ordinary things. You are not concentrating on your work. So that is why you are making mistake. That's all. Problem is at the mental level, not at the spiritual level.
So, Prabhu, sometimes it happens that
Both may be right also. For instance, one side you may read and what you read is completely absorbing to you. And so much absorbing that you are assistant pujari and you are not cleaning properly. Spiritually, maybe you are well situated. But there is a problem there. At another level, you should focus. Krishna's work, that is very important. That is application of what you read, what you thought and everything. That is actually, I have to apply that.
And Prabhu, no, sometimes
You understood this?
Yes, Prabhu, this thing I had
Yeah.
understood.
The spiritual, this is a material problem. So material problem should be solved materially. That means mind should be there, means mind should be on one thing and do it nicely.
And Prabhu, sometimes the services are assigned after some time. Like I will have to do after some, at 11 o'clock or something. After some time I will have to do certain things. And it happens that I forget that thing. No, it's after some time.
Today mobiles are there for reminder. Pen and paper is there. First use all the material things to solve your problems. You understand? Now don't think, for what a pen and paper can do, what a mobile can do, you want spiritual solutions for this. No need. These can be solved very easily. Reminder you should have. Nothing, best mobile is here. You don't tell your mind that 11 o'clock I have to do this 2-3 times. You don't tell with feeling. You tell with feeling, you will see that you will be reminded. It's a way of working, way of doing service properly. You have to train your mind. It's an issue of training the mind. If I want to do something for the Lord, my body should be pakka, my mind should be pakka, my intelligence should be pakka, it should be fine-tuned. There are certain material laws that work as far as efficiency of this mind-body system is concerned. If you don't sleep properly, and then you want to chant, and then you're feeling sleepy, then you come and ask, Prabhu, what is the solution? What is the spiritual solution for not to sleep while chanting? I will say first use all the material solutions. Sleep well properly, maintain your body properly, and then afterwards still you are sleeping, then we will see spiritual solutions. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाए, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए।